With recent acquisitions of Jrue Holiday to the Boston Celtics, the Celtics had to sadly give up guys like Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams. And now with a big hole at our center position, the Celtics are looking kind of scared. But don't be feared, Celtics fans. We just signed Wenyen Gabriel, and he's going to compete for a spot for the Celtics at training camp coming up this week. So welcome back to Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz, and in this episode, we'll get into how the Celtics signed Wenyen Gabriel and how I think Wenyen Gabriel will affect the Boston Celtics this season if he does make the roster. But if he does not make the roster, we're going to explore some possible options for the Boston Celtics' last roster spots. But before we get into any Celtics content today, I'd like to say that 91% of the people that watch our videos are not subscribed, and would greatly appreciate it if you guys hit that big old red subscribe button and join the Celtics Digest family. We're on our way to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough. We just smashed our goal of halfway, hitting 500 subscribers. So thank you guys enough. I can't thank everyone that's already subscribed. But if you want to make sure that you get your Celtics daily content here, make sure to subscribe to Celtics Digest, as we'll be providing that content all throughout the regular season. But everybody, let's get ready. Grab your popcorn ready, as we're going to be discussing Welcome to Boston, Wenyen Gabriel. And yes, Wenyen Gabriel, you are here. Congratulations. You and Jrue Holiday are the two newest faces of the Boston Celtics, and we can't thank you guys enough. Let's get into how this happened. So Champagnie reported that free agent /center Wenyen Gabriel is finalizing a deal with the Boston Celtics. Gabriel averaged 5.5 points per game and 4.2 rebounds per game for the Lakers last season, and he will compete for a reserve big man spot in Boston. Looking at Champagnie's other tweet, kind of giving us a little bit of exposure on Wenyen Gabriel's game. Wenyen Gabriel's strong play for South Sudan in the FIBA World Cup this summer helped secure the team's first ever spot in the 2024 Olympics. Gabriel averaged 9.2 points and 6.8 rebounds for South Sudan and has worked out for the Celtics in Boston in recent weeks. So this is great for the Celtics. As we've said, I'm not a big fan of the Jrue Holiday deal at the beginning because I did not want to move off of guys like Robert Williams and Al Horford. I felt that they brought a lot to the Celtics. But a guy like Wenyen Gabriel, I feel like, could be a decent replacement for Robert Williams and could be a solid backup center for the Celtics. Another big question with the Celtics is obviously having Luke Kornet. Will Luke Kornet be the backup center? He can kind of play some backup minutes, but I don't know if I trust Luke Kornet 100% to be a true backup center. And with Wenyen Gabriel, I don't know if I trust him 100% either, but with the Celtics, with having all this money within our top 6 guys, we're going to have some bottom-of-the-guide feeders for the rest of our roster spots, and that's the type of team that we're just going to have, guys. Now, looking at Wenyen Gabriel's stats, you can see that he averaged 5.5 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 0.5 assists last year, shooting around 60% from the field, shooting 28% from 3, and obviously 61% from the free throw. Now, Wenyen Gabriel is obviously not a fantastic three-point shooter, so don't even be looking at that number. You want to be looking for his true efficiency at the field goal next to the basket, and you want to be looking at his free throws. And sadly, his free throw isn't the greatest, but hopefully Wenyen Gabriel could work on that for the Boston Celtics upcoming this season. Now, Wenyen Gabriel, I know from the Los Angeles Lakers, I believe he was their third-string center last year behind the likes with Anthony Davis and other pieces. So I don't really know what to expect from Wenyen Gabriel. He did have some serviceable minutes for the Lakers last season, but for the Boston Celtics, if I'm looking at a true backup center, if he can really grow and perform and do well, I didn't see him play for the FIBA World Cup, so if he did good for his team, then I think he could be a solid center for the Celtics. But to be honest, he's a training camp deal. He's going to compete for this roster spot. The Celtics aren't completely sold on this last roster spot, guys. There are so many teams that still have to waive guys. We just saw a guy like Reggie Bullock get waived from the San Antonio Spurs yesterday, and he's been on playoff teams with the Mavericks and the Knicks in the past. So don't expect a contender to be pursuing player like him, but also expect contenders to be kind of holding out these last roster spots possibly to wait for these cuts to happen to pursue these guys to be their backups. Because a guy like Reggie Bullock can be a backup in the NBA, but wasn't a free agent until yesterday. So if you were to be looking for a free agent wing before yesterday, you might be like, there's some slim pickings, but then when you see Reggie Bullock there, you're kind of happy. Same kind of thing with the Boston Celtics. They see Wenyen Gabriel. They know that they can kind of just jump on him. He's a little bit younger. He did good for the FIBA World Cup, so hopefully he can kind of develop and be a solid backup center for the Boston Celtics. But if he isn't the guy for the Boston Celtics, there are plenty of other options that the Celtics could look at. Now, when looking at forward and center, because the Celtics did acquire Jrue Holiday, but they traded Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams and 2 first-round picks. Obviously, Malcolm Brogdon and Jrue Holiday would replace each other, so you need a backup replacement for Rob Williams. So looking at backup bigs that the Celtics could officially pick up, we'll be looking at some forwards that they could pick up because they could be signing a forward. Wenyen Gabriel is listed as a forward/center. So let's look at some of these guys and I'll give you guys my opinions. I think that Justice Winslow at this rate isn't what the Celtics need. He's good on defense, but I don't think he's going to be providing that rebounding that the Celtics want. Udonis Haslem has retired. I believe Iguodala has retired as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Iguodala is at the point of his career where he doesn't even play. JaMychal Green is the one guy on this list besides Wenyen Gabriel who you've signed that I do like because I think that JaMychal Green has provided some great depth for some other teams that we've seen as well, other contending teams like the Nuggets and the Warriors. And I think that JaMychal Green could kind of buy into this role as a backup 4-5, depending on how you want to shape the roster. Now, if you're looking at how the roster is going to be looked like, you could say that we're going to have Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps, Porzingis. That's the starting 5. Those are the best 5. But when you look at that, when you look at our bench, we have guys like Pritchard, we got guys like Hauser, we got a guy like Walsh. And then after that, we have Horford. So we're missing a guard there for starting that lineup. So it's kind of confusing how the Celtics want to look at it. With Media Day being tomorrow, I expect that the Celtics will address the starting lineup and obviously address this trade. And we'll have plenty of news to break that down tomorrow, so make sure you guys are stay tuned for that. But I think that the Celtics could look at a potential backup forward or center to replace Rob Williams, or they could be looking at a backup guard to kind of play that backup 2 slot for the Celtics in their bench role when they run on a lineup of Pritchard, Hauser, Walsh, and Horford. It's mainly 3 forwards and 1 guard. You kind of do need another guard. So let's look at some possible guards that the Celtics could pick up that have been rumored around these names as well. We could talk about a guy named Austin Rivers, who I know for the Boston Celtics has said that he would like to play for the Boston Celtics. Now, I don't know if Austin Rivers is a guy to be a main backup. I feel like Austin Rivers is more of a 3rd string guy, but a guy that I wouldn't be mad if the Celtics picked up would be Terrence Davis. Now, I know that Terrence Davis has played on the Sacramento Kings, and the Sacramento Kings in the recent years haven't had that many good 2s or 3s besides Harrison Barnes. So you would think that if Terrence Davis was actually a solid player, he would have worked his way up and been on this Kings rotation. But I think there's still some light for Terrence Davis for the Celtics team. I wouldn't mind if the Celtics looked at him as a potential player to bring in for a training camp deal alongside Lamar Stevens and Wenyen Gabriel, just because if they do want to run this lineup of Jrue Holiday and Derrick White as the main backcourt, then they kind of have to look at another guard to bring in. Now, obviously, if they decide to run Derrick White off the bench and they run Jrue, Brown, Tatum, Horford, Robert Williams, then they'll need another backup center, and that's where I could see a signing like Wenyen Gabriel or JaMychal Green fitting more for the Boston Celtics. And with Blake Griffin most likely being on his way out, I don't see a return with Blake Griffin either. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys like the signing of Wenyen Gabriel? And do you think that he can be one of the potential ballers for the Celtics? Or do you think that the Celtics will go a different route with filling out their final roster spots? Let me know in the comment section below. I love to read your comments. As always, I'm Bruce Veliz, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode of Celtics Digest.